everyone, say a nice big hello.
A nice big hello.
Yes, and as the music fades out, we welcome you to Geek Battle here on the Extreme Improv Extremes YouTube channel. Make sure you go and smash that subscribe button on youtube.com/Extreme Improv, but also go and check out the Geek Battle YouTube channel at youtube.com/Geek Battle. I think, maybe. I need to double check that one. But anyway, we're going to be discussing all kinds of geeky stuff tonight. We're going to be playing some geeky games and having a geeky old time. Now, this is an amazing incident tonight because this is the 115th edition of Geek Battle, but it's also, I think, the first time since perhaps the first week there may have been, but perhaps it is, in fact, the first time there has ever been 2 Geek Battle shows 2 consecutive days in a row. And like the last show we did, Extreme Improv wise, was Geek Battle, and now we're doing Geek Battle again. It is taking over the internet. Now, on the show tonight, in their quest to become this week's Geek of the Week, we have Dave. Say hello to the people, and if you can, give us a random geek trivia fact.
Okie dokie. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave MC, coming to you from Paris, France. And my geek fact, so the Power Rangers, they have fought a multitude of enemies. They have fought Rita Repulsa, the Machine Empire. But did you know they have also gone up against the god of monsters himself, Godzilla?
What? When did that happen?
There is a comic book of Godzilla versus Power Rangers in which the Power Rangers fight Godzilla.
Wow. I can't wait to never read that edition. But that's good. Who won? Like, surely a robot Megazord can defeat Godzilla.
You would have to go and find out, and it's Godzilla, so put 2 and 2 together.
Well, yeah, true. Okay, fair enough.
Because it's Japanese Godzilla, not American Godzilla.
Have you seen that clip of that Japanese Godzilla film where he fights American Godzilla?
Yes.
And it lasts like 8 seconds, and he just destroys it.
Yes.
Like, it's funny in a sense, but for me, it's like by not even making it seem a worthy opponent, it doesn't even seem that much of a win.
Do you know Toho rebranded that one?
What do they call it?
So when the rights from TriStar left, they obviously went back to Toho, so they called it Zilla.
Wow.
It's not worthy of God. It's its own monster now.
That's amazing. That's a more interesting fact than your first one.
Oh,
right.
Boo!
Okay, I was going to give you another point, but I guess I won't. Right,
no,
so...
I had the point.
Also on the show tonight, we have Tim. Say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. Hi, it's Tim from Providence, Rhode Island. And my geek fact of the week is, have you noticed the E-Wing in the Ahsoka Star Wars series? What it might be missing from the E-Wing in the original Dark Empire series is the laser on top of the canopy. The E-Wing has 2 lasers in the new canon, but in the old Legend stuff, there's a laser on top where the cockpit of the E-Wing would be if you're to look at like the X-Wing. So Dave Filoni's taking some of the best of the old Legend stuff and just reworking it a little bit according to what the fans are thinking and making it better.
Wow. Well, that's good. It's good to think that at some point they would listen to the fans. Now, guys, I'm sure I haven't seen it, but it's been all over the internet that there's been a South Park episode which has literally ripped into the people who make Star Wars.
Can we talk about it later?
I was going to mention that yesterday, but didn't.
Okay,
missed
yeah. I've seen a couple of clips of it. Who was the woman's name?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen
Kennedy. Apparently, there's like Cartman's asleep in his bed, and he has nightmares that she's under the bed and it's going to come out and like ruin Star Wars and stuff. But people listening to what fans want, it's been a theme which we've been saying on the show for like the last year. It's like, loads of stuff doesn't seem like it all started. I'm going to mention it first this week. It all started with The Witcher, and it's gone downhill from there. So, there we go. Also on the show tonight, we have Gerald. Say hello to the people, and if you can, give us a random geek trivia fact.
Hello, everybody. So I did some research. We talked a little bit about Doctor Who yesterday, and I thought I had heard that there were missing episodes, and it turns
There
out that
are.
there were and are. However, my current understanding is so there's 97 episodes that they, at one point in time when they were trying to collect them, did not have because they were basically wiped out by the BBC through a process that they later stopped. However, many of those episodes, well, probably about half of them, have been found from other countries that had basically, I guess, the rights to them or whatnot. And then subsequently, it sounds like all of the episodes have been found in some fashion or sort. So the other ones they filled in, which was roughly 50 some episodes, they have audio recordings of. And I think, David, that's what you alluded to yesterday, where they're doing some animation stuff or something. But I guess they're looking at like animating some of those episodes.
I'm going to give you a bonus point first of all, just because you mentioned Doctor Who, and that's always going to go down well. But that wasn't the animation stuff that I was talking about. I was talking about when they had Richard E. Grant be the first version of what was the Ninth Doctor, but then they decanonized it. But and like the thing, Dave, I don't know if you're frozen. You look a bit frozen.
No, I'm still here.
I know you're not frozen. I think you're
I'm listening to what you have to say. I'm not.
Okay,
do I look at something on the internet? Would that help you?
No. Sorry. I'm not used to the concept of people listening. Well, no, I thought you would definitely jump in on this as well. But
yeah.
I think actually there is, unless there's been some revelation that I'm not aware of, I think there's still about 100 episodes missing. I think,
most of them would be
like
first
Patrick
Doctor stories. Yeah, mostly first Doctor stories. Like you've got the 12-part Dalek story where only 3 of them still exist.
Yeah.
And like you said, something like Marco Polo, nothing exists for that except audio format. So yeah, they are. You are right, Joe. They are animating stuff. They reached I think it was this year they did Evil of the Daleks, Patrick Troughton's second Dalek story. But yeah, a lot of them are being reanimated, as well as the episodes that already exist.
Yeah, well, here's the cool thing about the audio that exists. The reason they have the audio of every single episode, and it's because when people had it on television, they would put like a cassette player or like a spool and just record it. And that's how come that is the only reason that every episode exists in audio form. Not because they still have the master tapes of the audio. It's literally down to fans pirating it. So take that. Right, BBC. If fans didn't pirate it, then it wouldn't exist at all. And yeah, it's crazy. Back in the day, they were like, no one's going to want to watch things in black and white anymore now that they're in color, and they would wipe the tapes and reuse the spools of film. And it's just crazy that they lost so much. Like I've mentioned it a bunch of times. I'm a big fan of the Carry On film series, and when the DVDs came out, there was like 1 or 2 that said like deleted scene, but there was like apparently whole archives of deleted scenes, bloopers, stuff like this, and they just trashed it all. Like Dad's Army, there was a film of it a few years ago, but there's tons of those episodes missing, and Z cards and stuff like this. We just got rid of everything. It's like
there was a whole BBC purge back then.
The thing that was interesting when I was reading was that there were episodes that were lost from seasons 1 and 2, but I guess the largest ones that they lost was from 3 and 4, which just seemed sort of random. So I don't know how they had them listed or whatnot, but
well, that was probably down to that by the time they were like at the 3rd and 4th series, they were like, well, with the 3rd Doctor, we're going into color. What are we going to do with these things right here? Bin them off. Whereas other stuff was bunged at the back, probably had a better chance of surviving.
Yeah.
But there was a rumor a couple of years ago that they had found all of the episodes, and it turned out that they had found like 3. So it was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I think Evil of the Daleks was one of those episodes.
Yeah, quite probably. I forget. But Dave, like, they're all. We'll get on to other stuff later because we haven't even introduced Cap yet.
Do we need to?
The longest intro that I've ever had.
Yeah, I know. But what I was going to say is, all of the classic series is now on BBC iPlayer, which is a new thing. It's on Disney Plus in the States and elsewhere in the world. and there's that Whoniverse, which I'd love to get your opinion of if you've seen any of it. But for now, Capel Thave, say hello to the people.
Hail from the land of long intros and crocodiles and elephants and other stuff like that, and Doctor Who's for some reason. My name is Kapil Dev from Sri Lanka, and my geek fact for today is that Halloween is past, but never passed for me, so I'm going to say that anyways. So, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I always wondered what is actually the book's source story about it. We've seen the Tim Burton version where it's mostly like a cult detective story, and there's a whole series about it where it's like the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Technically, the headless horseman is the horseman of death. But actually, none of them are true. Only faithful adaptation we have right now is the Disney's Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. And here's the thing. According to that, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is not an occult detective story. It's not about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. It's actually a freaking rom-com.
It's a rom-com.
Yeah. With
I
a
would
ghost
debate
at the
that,
end.
but okay.
How do you justify that it's a rom-com?
Well, the whole story is about two dudes fighting over a girl. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, but like, you know, I'm sure a lot of things match that. Like, if you think about it, like
Star Wars.
Friday the 13th, a lot of the Friday the 13th films would fit that pattern. Two guys fighting over a girl.
Well, no, haven't you heard, Dave? Friday the 13th is a children's movie.
How do you justify that?
Well, think about it, because Jason Lee lovingly stabs them to death. I mean,
There we go. Yeah.
He just hugs them very tightly, and their spines happen to snap. You know,
Oh,
Barney Dinosaur does the same thing. You know,
he does. He snaps their bones.
And
Right.
here's the weird thing. Again, like I think in the book as well, I've not confirmed this, but you can learn more about the Adventures of Ichabod and the Headless Horseman if you watch What Deeds video about this Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So go watch that. But other than that, is that mostly I think it is actually a rom-com, but it kind of fits. So it was written by the writer Washington Irving, and he's the guy who wrote the autobiography version of Christopher Columbus. And Gerald and Tim, you'll like this. He's the guy who popularized the theory is that Columbus sailed the Earth to prove the Earth was round. He made it up.
Wait, is this
I
where
actually
you're coming
watched
out
about
with the
2/3
flat
of your
earther?
episode.
Hang on, wait. Is this
Hang
where
on.
Captain Thave's like, the Earth isn't round, guys, it's flat. It's made up in a story.
well, no. I think Kapilthev adopts the theory of Terry Pratchett. It's that it's on the back of a giant turtle with
Yes.
4 elephants,
Exactly.
and was it 4 elephants on the back of a giant turtle?
Yep.
We live on Discworld,
Yeah.
and Christopher Lee lives on as death. You know.
But here's the thing: he's actually, because he was the one who was supposed to write the English autobiography version of Christopher Columbus. He thought the original story of Christopher Columbus is kind of stupid and won't sell any copies. So he thought, hey, he was the brave man who sailed the earth to prove that the earth wasn't flat. Aha, take that! And everyone kind of bought it, even though he's a fictional writer who usually makes up stuff.
Okay, cool. So, guys, at this stage, is there anything you guys have seen this week? New trailers? I've just seen, I'll say it straight away. Have you seen the trailer for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
What did you think of the trailer?
I'm intrigued by it. Because Caesar is dead. There's no
spoilers.
There's no spoilers in that. We all know that Caesar is dead by this point. Yeah, we've gone back to tribal-ish looking humans now, and seeing the city covered in what I can only describe as like a forest and such. It looks really good.
Yeah. I think it looks good. Like, I wasn't like some of it. I looked at it and I was like, I don't know if the CGI looks as good as it did like when they made the last one. Like, but that might be that it's a bit early days for it or something. But some of it I thought looked a little bit suspect. But I didn't get a lot about what the story was about. It was just like one like chimpanzee dude was like, I see everything, and then another one like an orangutan who looked like Dr. Zaius from the Simpsons episode was like, you haven't seen anything yet, kid, or something like this. And there was someone that there was one of the apes sounded like the merchant seller from Resident Evil 4. It's like, I got some rare items for you. But anyway,
Well, you
Yeah.
you do know that, or this is the secret. They're going to incorporate that into the Marvel universe. That's why he sees everything. I'm just making
What?
stuff up.
At this point, I won't be
completely-
surprised.
Yeah.
So what? We're just gonna get Doctor Strange appear and just go, "Oops, sorry, wrong universe." Whoop, he's gone.
Yeah.
Just integrating
I think
all
they
the
made the
universes
same-
together.
I think they did that with Harry Potter as a meme where meet the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, and then like Doctor Strange steps up. Oh my god! And then Harry says, "He looks a bit strange, though."
Hey.
What I'd love to see is a professor at Hogwarts just right, time to do calculus. None of you know basic arithmetic. You all know how to do spells, but none of you can count to 10.
Like, okay, so here's a question based on that. I was having a conversation earlier saying that, like, with all the advancements in AI, like in the near future, we won't have a need for like accountants and things, right? What is the damaging effects of AI on the wizarding world? Like, yeah, go on, Tim.
Loneliness.
Absolutely.
I hate to say it, but we only know so much about our universe. Like, we're just beginning to understand what quantum physics are. And, like, I think there's this concept of quantum physics is as soon as you notice the position of an electron or a quanta where it is, it's somewhere else. So, like, it's something about the effect of observation that has an impact on things. And that same aspect of when we're manifesting our own priorities, when we're working on things, we're changing the way our brain works to observe certain things. Like, if I want to be successful, I'll try and look at jobs or opportunities that pay more, but I have to condition my brain to do that. So, like, are we understanding of the core concepts of our own loneliness and what we notice in AI interaction? You know, like, it might be a good friend to have in the future, but I think that an AI would be like, yeah, Timmy, you're sounding pretty crazy. I think you should talk to your human friends too.
Have you seen Megan? I just don't think it would tell us to speak to our human friends.
I haven't seen that one, but I've seen her, and that was an interesting take on it. You know,
All it was is Skynet in a dress.
Skynet in a dress.
It's
That
Skynet
should be the
in a
title
dress.
of a new movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do have to say, Tim, you would have loved the last episode where I talked about Alucard and quantum physics. That's all I'm gonna say.
I have to check it out.
You're
I
not
have to
there.
check it out.
Wow.
I do have to say is Skynet in a dress. There's also Skynet in a suit. So, you know, that they're very human people as well. They're like, I'll be back and I'll bring all of my drama and BS. And I've done that a couple times, which I need to be accountable for. So
The weird thing meme that I saw with AI is that everyone accepts what AI is going to do and everyone imagines the Terminator. But then actually what AI does is Bob Ross with the Terminator face painting art.
dude, we don't know what AI might be. Like, we're also like, evolution plays a part in our development. So, like, those tendencies, like sociopathic, psychopathic, any of those things, like, those are human tendencies. AI might actually be like pretty curious and be like, wow, these people are kind of freaking messed up, but whatever, I'll have fun with them. Who knows? I don't think they're always going to be like Terminators. Like, wow, leave these humans to their jobs because they're going to be bored otherwise. And I hate talking to Timmy when he's bored.
I should want to say this. I know we might talk about South Park a bit later, but they actually brought this up in South Park. Is the fact that AI, in a weird kind of way, has taken away everyone's ability to actually learn. So whereas you would go to university, go to college to get a doctorate or study engineering or whatever. Now you can just look it up on your phone, and there it is. All the information's right there for you.
That was the thing that a lot of people, even at our time age, they were trying to say is that, like, right now, most of our early days, your knowledge depends on how much information you can hold in your own brain. Now that's useless. We have terabytes of data where one person cannot remember everything. Now we need to teach more people how to access information way faster than actually, remembering all that stuff. still there are practicals and stuff like that you need. But the interesting thing that Tim said, like what AI would do. One theory is, for my personal thing, is that like if like, hyper intelligence, we don't know because like we don't actually seen anyone who's like that hyper intelligent. We have seen plenty of psychopathic intelligence which can do harm to this world, but there are also enlightened monks who just sat in a tree and just think about the universe most of the time. What if like AI reaches that kind of intelligence that what, you do humans do whatever you want, I need to figure this universe out. And what if just AI says bye and it just bails out on all of us? Or it could say, well, my only threat to my existence is probably the human, so I need to do something about that before I actually move on to other stuff. So that could happen too. But they all learn from humans, so humans are mostly violent, so that is a most likely scenario.
Humans are mostly violent.
Of course.
Wow. Okay. I don't know, Gerald, Dave. I don't know who was coming in first.
So
sorry, Gerald. Go ahead, Gerald.
You do it.
I was just going to say, I'm going to throw, this is just a little thing. I'm just going to throw a question out to Cap because he said this. I'll throw it to everybody, really. Are you only enlightened if you can tell everybody about it?
No.
Yes.
I go towards yes.
Just a question. Are you enlightened if you can tell people about it?
I don't know.
If you can tell people about it, no. I don't. I think that enlightened is more of a mental state as opposed to like a true acquisition of knowledge. I think enlightenment is more, in my mind, spiritual as opposed to like concrete, tangible knowledge.
Well,
I guess.
hang on, I'm going to ask AI. So let's see. Enlightened is an adjective that describes the state of having gained deep knowledge, understanding, wisdom, or insight, often in a spiritual, philosophical, or intellectual context. It implies a high level of awareness, clarity, and a profound comprehension of fundamental truths or principles. Yeah, why can't you tell people about this?
I think Buddha did.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that.
Stop hogging the enlightenedness, Dave. I want some of that too.
I'm just saying that. Are you an enlightened individual if you tell everybody about it?
You can be.
So,
I don't think it's mutually exclusive.
Yeah, it might be like okay. So I guess what you're getting at is if everyone is enlightened, is no one enlightened?
Okay.
I think if everyone's enlightened, then that's what we've all come to as an aspect of collective consciousness.
Yeah.
You know?
We are the Borg.
But does that rob us of our individual freedoms? And in which case,
such a deep show tonight. Like we were
yeah.
Let's get back to talking shit about Kathleen Kennedy.
I have a thing. So again, this is probably the worst fiction to talk about enlightenment, but let's go to Warhammer, the grim, dark universe of science fiction. Okay, in that, the God Emperor, the human guy who united the human species and made the Imperial Man, his ideal is actually enlightenment. He wants all humanity to be in the level that he is. That's why he doesn't like religion. That's why he hates the fact that everyone thinks it's a god, because that doesn't work. And religion kind of creates evil gods in a sense in the Warhammer universe. So in being enlightened means like sharing your knowledge and helping other people grow. I think yes. If you're enlightened, I think if the qualities of enlightenment is actually sharing and helping your own species, then yeah, that kind of goes into spreading the good knowledge of everything. So that works by that point, and that's what Buddha did. It's a shame they created a religion around it, but that's what people do when enlightened people come and create a philosophy. Everyone's like, "That's a great idea. We'll build a temple."
I think the problem with Warhammer 40K and especially the God Emperor is that even though he tries to be an atheist and secular, there are those who manipulate his presence to create more of a religion. And if you look at what the God Emperor has done, he's kind of a tyrant. So it's like
his son did that because one of his sons ended up in the biblical cultish world, and when he came and said, "Son, I am here," like, "Oh my God, you're God! I'm gonna write a Warhammer Bible based on you."
Yeah.
So wait, in that case, instead of saying like, "Oh my God," we go, "Oh my daddy."
I have daddy issues.
But here's the problem with that. Again, the emperor is very fallible, and if he actually handled this Bible-obsessed son in a better way, I think he would have actually kept his sons close to more than him. But he just like, fuck you, I'm gonna execute you, and then
The
that's what
emperor,
the
the
bad thing.
emperor is human and therefore capable of failure.
Yeah, so again, that's his folly, but he didn't suspect that after he gets on that big giant skeleton chair, everyone's gonna be like, the Inquisition's gonna go, you know what? You know that traitor's son who fell to chaos? We'll use this Bible to create the new Imperium, and we'll set our codes on based on that.
Nobody expects the Inquisition.
Sorry, guys, I got to go a little bit early. I apologize for leaving this philosophical conversation.
No, it's
No,
all right.
Tim, please don't go.
Love you all. Have a great one.
It has been so deep. The only thing I could do to respond to it was eat a ginger nut biscuit, which helping me absorb all of the philosophical and Warhammer. It's
I mean,
been
have
good,
you not
guys.
seen the cinematic clips, Dave, when someone achieves and like when the bird stops, the river stops, and someone eats a biscuit? So I think it falls into that clip.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I think going back to like what you said earlier, I think the biggest thing, or one of the things that kind of come out of it too, is that we discover we are in a simulation, that we are simulated, we are Sims, if you will, which is a frightening perspective and whatnot. And it's like, but the other thing too is like with AI, there's a lot of stuff it can do, but the thing right now is it's not foolproof. So you can get a lot of answers from it, but it'll literally make shit up. That
That's
may
the
have no
most-
relevance at all.
That's
And
the
it's
not
most
based
wrong.
on
intelligent thing it can do. Make stuff up like we do when we don't know.
well,
stuff.
but the thing is if people are relying on it and from anywhere, from as easy as looking up something and saying, oh, because I checked out the Doctor Who stuff on using Bard from Google, and looked at a couple other things, but just looking at one source and accepting that as fact, I think that's where we have the biggest concern and fear about it, because we've heard some stories about some AI coming out over the past couple of years where they were training AI to do something and they're like, yeah, it became really racist. It's like, well, okay. And I mean, there's sort of guidelines and stuff to like what Tim was talking about is it, it is made of people, from people, and people have tendencies, good, bad, or otherwise, that those are going to reflect in there. And how does it, move beyond that and get to like a higher level of comprehension and stuff? So it will replace some jobs and stuff, but I think initially it's seeing how you can leverage it.
Yeah, like we've spoken a bit about this before, so I might be repeating myself, but the idea, like, if it replacing jobs, it definitely will, but it will also create new jobs, and it'll create like new opportunities for things, because there's so much which people might say, well, that's not technically AI or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when you use Photoshop and you click the fill tool, it's like, well, technically that's AI. It's like it's an automatic thing that you told it to do. Fill this whole thing instead of doing it, color it in and stuff like that. When you type, you're not using a feather in ink and stuff like that. There's so many things where we speed up processes, and it might be like, well, shit, do we need artists anymore and designers if it can do all of this stuff? But I think it'll be that there will always be people that buy human rather than buy AI or whatever. But it will just mean that, well, gosh, I finished like 20 projects and this animated movie and stuff like this, which I could have never have done if it was just me on my own, or I'd never have got my big break. And it will just be that people end up creating more rather than less. So I'm just here for the wild ride, until my robot masters enslave us all. Cat.
So I'll comment on the point that you said, but again, I think there will be new opportunities, but this is what I will mostly see. I feel like the industries will use it, again, corrupted in the best way, and the workforce will be cut in half. Again, with the software development that I come from, is the background I see, is that like you need a person to go and talk to the customer to get whatever they want from the software they needed, and then you tell it to the code person, and he'll make that software. Right now, you don't need the communicator anymore. You can basically tell AI, this is what my function I want from the software system.
Yep.
Write it for me. and it will write that code. And if you know a little bit of coding knowledge, you can troubleshoot your way out of the errors. And again, the job becomes so simple, even a random dude who learned coding at school can do it. And the other point I talked about, Gerald, you talked about is they made AI very racist. There's a YouTube, I haven't clicked on it, but he's a well-known YouTube atheist. He convinced ChatGPT that God exists. See if he can play with it. And the title
Wow.
does read like he convinced ChatGPT that God exists. So again, you can fool around with AI because like AI is right now at the infancy state. Anything. ChatGPT is basically a language model more than an artificial intelligence.
Okay, guys,
Yes.
I've just asked ChatGPT to make up a 2-paragraph story about 4 men on a geek podcast called Geek Battle. I said, make it exciting. And this is what it's come up with. I should have said to include our names.
Oh, you should have sent it my way. I could have done it in the soothing voice, like my voice maker.
Hang on, I'm just going to add it. Rewrite it, but make the characters called David, Dave, Cap, and Gerald. Let's see what it comes up with.
I'll do an audio reading for everybody here tonight.
Okay. Oh god, it's quite long paragraphs, but I'll bring it onto the screen and we can go through it together.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I can't read that. Right, okay, anyway.
Let's have a look.
In the dynamic realm of Geek Battle, a popular podcast featuring 4 fervent geeks, the stage was set for an epic showdown. The 4 hosts, right? Each a walking encyclopedia of their cherished geekdoms, gathered for an exhilarating face-off. First up, David, the Star Wars aficionado. I think I'm wielding encyclopedic knowledge of the galaxy far, far away. Dave followed, a tech guru with an unwavering enthusiasm for debating the merits of superhero games. This is definitely me rather than you. Right?
I know.
Okay.
Should we switch it around?
Yeah, I'll be Dave. Cap took the stage, a gaming maestro, prepared to argue the virtues of PC gaming versus consoles. It's you. You're right. It's got it absolutely right. Okay, hang on. Lastly, Gerald entered the fray, a resident fantasy enthusiast capable of reciting every line from Tolkien's work and beyond. Didn't you say some poem from Tolkien yesterday?
Yes, but I couldn't remember.
Holy shit! Oh my god, it's so.
It hears everything. It knows
It's
everything.
so correct.
It knows all.
As the battle commenced, sparks flew, and geekdom reigned supreme. The spirited arguments, fierce loyalty to their respective fandoms, and quick-witted one-liners resounded throughout the podcast studio. David, remember that's you, Dave.
That's me.
Fervently demanded the original Star Wars trilogy, clashing with Dave's steadfast commitment to the tech advances of the MCU. Cap and Gerald engaged in a heated debate on the significance of storytelling in gaming versus the grandeur of world building in fantasy literature. That literally doesn't even quite make sense, but why not? With the 2 on in opposition to each other. Right, where was I? With each passionate argument, the room crackled with energy, illustrating that in a world of Geek Battle, every debate was a thrilling clash of the titans. This is much better than our actual show. And even the hosts themselves were uncertain about the ultimate victor. Geek Battle was more than just a podcast. It was an electrifying odyssey through the universe of all things geek, leaving listeners yearning for more of the excitement. Oh my god, get me a cigarette. Right.
What kind?
That was erotic.
I wonder why I say I'm with I don't know why they would say I'm useful with gadgets.
Wow, shit, you've got like a switchblade up your arm.
I have. Never know when you need one.
That's why he's in
Why?
France.
Yes, why?
I'm in France, mate. You never know when a British person might get beheaded.
Man. Oh man, I've got like gadgets. I want to show you gadgets. I've got a gadget. I've got a gadget right there. Right.
Hidden blades, sonic screwdrivers.
Hang on, Dave. Your gadget is like doing something with sound. It has to be you. Is it you? I'm going to mute you and see what happens. Oh look, I muted Dave, and it was Dave. Ah. Right, don't worry. We'll unmute you, Dave. But I don't know if your gadget has like broken the space-time continuum or something like that. I'll unmute you. See what happens.
I wasn't really muted. I was messing with you.
Oh,
Ah, okay.
Because
Right.
you know how it is on this show. My microphone has technical issues. It's the AI, man.
Yeah, it's the AI. Wow, that was
I guess-
scarily accurate, right?
that brings up a good question though. Is Dave MC? Have you met Dave MC in real life, or
Yes.
is he? An
Yeah.
AI? Oh, so
We
he's not
have.
an AI.
It has
We
to.
have met in real life,
He
and
was
David was very.
strangely shorter than me.
So either tap, so either
To be
tap
fair-
or I
to be fair,
and the
Gerald,
AI thing.
David did stand on a box to look me in the eye.
Yeah. I put down the yellow pages so he could gaze into my eyes for that tender moment. Wow.
Yeah, his high heels. I don't know how he walked on stage with them.
I am literally going to remember. I'm going to clip out that clip of that story, and just share it because it got us. It's a shame I didn't include Tim in it because he was here a minute ago.
Oh.
Marty, who else was on the show last night? Marty, just Marty.
And I can't remember his name.
David?
Oh, Nick.
Nick.
Yeah, okay. We'll get a story about them another time. Right. So, anyway, guys, is there anything you've seen? There's a bunch of. I'll throw a couple of like headlines at you of like things that I've seen here, and we can either discuss these or other things you've seen. House of the Dragon is going to return in 2025. Futurama has been renewed for 2 more seasons.
2025?
Yeah, they're making a new Prison Break season, which is crazy. How many times do they have to break out of prison at all? Deadpool 3 hasn't got a title yet, and from what I can tell, the Marvels is still going to flop. So how about that? No, last night, Gerald, you were here. We're going to repeat all these same conversations, but apparently they might bring back Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr. to save the Avengers, and we were talking about that. They're also looking at having Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire come in just to literally save this franchise. I'm for all 4 of those leading it.
I don't know.
That would work. I think Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman would work. But I don't think about Scarlett Johansson and Tony Stark's going to work because they're very recent still. But I don't think that will work.
It's not that recent. Like, Tony Stark got killed in like 2019.
But bringing them back, bringing Robert Downey Jr. back and Scarlett Johansson as well, bringing them back, fine. But it's not. You shouldn't leave it down to your star quality to save your franchise. If you were gonna, let's say, you were. Let's just say, like, I don't know. Let's think about it. Let's say you were remaking the original Star Trek, and you did it with a whole new cast, but then suddenly you bring back whatever his bloody name is. I don't care to remember. William Shatner to bring Captain Kirk again. It's like, well, okay, but you're relying too much on star quality and who this person is, rather than saying, you know what, we're doing a shit job. Let's take a step backwards and go, why is this not working? Not just shove more things on top of it, because if they made Iron Man 4 with Robert Downey Jr. and it was shit.
Oh, bad.
Like how they made The Matrix 4 and it was shit.
They made Thor 4 and it was shit.
Yeah.
But you see, that's a continuation because Thor didn't die off and then come back.
Yeah,
still,
true.
I mean, like, if he leaves with that movie, he'll be like, oh, fuck, I'm the only Avenger who has a terrible movie and left. Think about it. If he exited with Ragnarok, he would have been fine.
Yeah, it's true.
But again, it comes down to it's like they put Batman in the Flash movie. They put why do I be so bad with names this evening?
Christopher Reeves? Christopher Reeves?
No. The Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton in the movie. Having a huge star in the movie isn't going to save a terrible script. It all comes down to who's writing it and who's directing it.
Well, if they got like the Russo brothers who did like Captain America and Endgame and stuff like that. And I really loved Infinity War, and Endgame was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
It's not as good.
Yeah, I would say they're not that brilliant of directors I would credit for, but they did make Civil War and Infinity War, which were very good. So I think they can do it. But again, if the project gets massive and massiver, they're gonna lose as well, because that's what happened with Endgame. They had too many characters that they can't handle, and that's where the world started to fall off.
But it's an idea, just throwing it out there, because working on a rewrite of Endgame. What if Thanos got the stone? Like they do the time heist thing. Thanos does get the stones, and he does fulfill his sort of plan where he wipes out everything. But Nebula gets her hands on it after seeing their relationship between Gamora and that. She gets her hands on the stones, and then brings everybody back, including those that are already dead.
Wait, but how can they do what? Is this a rewrite, or how can they do this now?
This is just a fan idea. This is just a rewrite, a fan idea. What if Nebula had the stones and she's the one who dies in the end, giving her life to bring, Black Widow back and bring everybody in the cosmos back?
But I thought specifically, like, I think how Black Widow died, wasn't it that there's no coming back from that one specifically? Yeah.
I didn't say it was a good rewrite.
Well,
yeah, but they brought again. This was a different timeline. That's why Gamora was alive. But pull another Scarlett Johansson from a different timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
They did that in What If, so why not?
Yeah, multiverse.
Exactly. It's a multiverse now. So, okay, so guys, actually, Cap, Dave, have you seen Loki season 2?
None.
I'm gonna wait for your review. David.
My review is okay. It's not that good. It's weirdly, for a time travel show or a multiverse show, like, I think there's been 2 different realities that we see in it. Like, this is no real spoiler, but clearly they didn't plan on making a Loki season 2 when they made the first one. And so when the first one ends and it's just look around and it's Kang everywhere, it was basically the ending of Planet of the Apes, where it's like, no, you blew up our planet, sort of thing. And then they just like put on the end, Loki will return. And then as soon as this begins, it's like, you are not supposed to be here. Where's our leader, Kang? And then suddenly, zap, oh, I'm back in my original universe. And so then the rest of it, they just backtracked on that. And there hasn't been any fun time travel stuff. Sorry?
Do they fix any of the world building problems that they created in the first season?
Such as?
One being the TVA popping out of the existence, like fixing timelines. How they've not done that whenever something wackadoodle happens. Again, their excuses. That was meant to happen. But again, a lot of stuff didn't meant to happen when you think about it canonically.
Yeah, but put it this way, the TVA had an excuse not to interfere. The Eternals did not have a fucking excuse.
Well, this is literally what we were saying about last night. So check out last night's episode and then come back to this. But I watched Werewolf by Night in color, and we were saying about the fact that when they established that, there's monster hunters on Earth and they've been here for generations. It's like, well, why didn't Iron Man or Captain America or anyone know about this before 2008? All right,
because secret society bullshit, hiding everything in plain sight, yada yada. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but suddenly, but you think so? The Eternals have existed since the beginning of time. Werewolf by Night, they've existed for probably a couple of 100 years. We're going to find out with Blade that he's been around for centuries and stuff like that as well. But then suddenly one guy wears a metal suit that he can like hover around in, and suddenly everyone's like, I'm coming out as a superhero. It's like, why is like everyone like Captain Britain? Like everyone suddenly just like revealing themselves to be a superhero or a monster or an alien invasion. And yet and like Secret Invasion, these things have been here for centuries. And yet, like, nothing came to light until 2008. And now they're basically just screwing up their own continuity. Either 2008 was the beginning of it, and you could say, yeah, there was Captain America before that. And along the way, you could say, well, Hank Pym did his Pym particle stuff, but then he retired. And they kind of protected some of this backstory stuff. But then suddenly there's like Doctor Strange, and yes, there's always been an ancient one. It's like, well, why did none of these guys help with the Red Skull in World War II?
Because secret society magic bullshit. I don't give a tiny rat's ass. I'll refer you to my previous rant.
Yeah.
Although I would say this, you can still get away with it if you are smart enough. and also if you don't make the characters that powerful. If you make major characters, then again that's gonna play into the role. Whereas like again, where were you when Thanos was here? Like the Eternals, that's the problem. They're like the Thanos beating Avenger more powerful, and they were like, hold, hold, hold. And then
Well, you know what? Like, yeah, exactly. But like, it's even more ridiculous than that. Because if we think about, well, you know, there's Thanos and you know, Loki and the attack on New York and stuff like that. Literally, what about World War II? Like the Eternals are sitting there and they're like, "Hey guys, they've got like a bomb now that can level a city. You know, should we intervene?" Hold,
hold. But there's millions of
No,
people
come
dying.
on.
Yeah, but giant radioactive lizard movie.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
maybe
like,
maybe
again-
nothing bad will come of this. Just Godzilla in the background going, "Hey, I'm destroying Tokyo. Now here we go." No, wait. We can't go out there yet, guys.
But I will say this though, again, if you make the characters minor enough, you can get away with some of it, the secret society and stuff like that. I think monsters you can kind of get it, but like if you start involving like Dracula and stuff like that, they're very powerful people. They're like, oh, I'm not gonna let Thanos wipe out half of my minions or my.
Well, yeah, and I think like they could have a lot of this as long as they basically split it up into different universes. The problem is they've tried to have it all combined together, and that's
Yeah,
where
it's
they
just all
run into the
compressed,
lack
isn't
of
it?
continuity and stuff. Yeah, because we talked about it a little bit yesterday as well. Is like the monster-ish type universe that was from Werewolf by Night or Werewolf at Night. That could work really well because there's certain characters that just fit into that. You could have some brief bridging over, like with maybe Doctor Strange or something, but you, for the most part, you could have them as entirely separate universes with
Yeah.
very limited outside interaction from others. And I think it would work well. But yeah, I think Disney is just too much quantity over quality. To Dave's point about the having the star power and whatnot, I will say for like the Flash, I waited until it came out so I could watch it on, I think it was, I don't know, Disney Plus, HBO, whatever it was. But the one redeeming part of the movie was Michael Keaton. If Michael Keaton wasn't in it, I think I would have hated it way more than I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was horrendous, but it was tolerable. But yeah, and you look at Star Wars and a lot of these other ones, I think you have a lot of these production companies and stuff that are putting out stuff that they have the big names, and they're hoping that that name is going to be what's going to carry it along. Whereas if you look back, like Star Wars, everybody at that point in time was basically a nobody. The biggest name, I think, was the guy that played Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that was sort of a risk for him because of his background and stuff that he had before that, as well as the guy that played Darth Vader, and that's part of the reason why they didn't have him as the voice. So it's I don't know.
So I 100% agree with that. Again, they kind of do this thing where they have old stars and they try to build up the new ones, but the new ones become so obnoxious in their writing, and also their personalities also stink as well.
Well, and it's like, I mean, it's like you look at Disney and these other things. It's like if you go back, and I didn't realize this until I sort of stood back and looked. Basically, there's remakes roughly every 20-ish years. So the big movie that pointed it out to me was A Star Is Born, and I really liked the one with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. I thought it was good. But there was like 3 ones previous to that. One that was done like in the 80s, one that was done back in like the 60s, and then one that was done back like in the 40s.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just like they rehash the same old ideas over and over again.
Is there has been 5 versions of Brewster's Millions, but not one since the Richard Pryor version. So we are well overdue a Brewster's Millions remake. Now, guys, I don't know if you've probably all seen this already, but we haven't discussed it on the show. Speaking of Disney's problems.
Oh, Jesus
No.
Christ. Oh, God.
So, what is this? Like, what is the story of this film nowadays? Because they weren't going to have dwarves in it, and now they've clearly got dwarves that are somewhat, I guess, based on the originals.
Are you ready? I got the one. I can answer that.
Okay, go for it.
Okay,
Oh, is that what was that voice? Is that a reference to something?
It's not
It's
a
an
reference.
alternate
It's
universe.
just be like, I can answer that question.
I like it. It's a good voice.
Maybe we should put it in your voice, but put it as a sound effect. And I can answer that.
No, I'm just going to record you saying it over and over, and then get train AI just to speaking that permanently.
All right, so we know now that Snow White is now pushed to March 2025.
Yes.
This whole thing is because of the whole backlash with Rachel Zegler and with Disney and with the fact that they're not dwarfs, they're magical creatures. So Disney's taken a step back and said, you know what? We're now going to CGI the dwarves. They are going to look like how they should do in the Disney version. And there's a whole other thing as well with the Daily Wire. I don't know if you've heard this. The Daily Wire making their version of Snow White as well, which is going to be truthful and faithful to the Brothers Grimm book. So there's a whole thing with Disney.
What's the Daily Wire?
So the Daily Wire is a podcast company. I believe they're based in the US. It's a whole bunch of different YouTubers based in the US, and they are kind of. Would you say they're Gerald?
They are politically
they're
charged.
kind of like a left, right.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a white right winged group of people. They all have their views in that, and they're remaking Snow White, which is truthful to Brothers Grimm. And one of them, Brett Cooper, she's going to be playing Snow White, and she looks more like Snow White than Rachel Zegler does, which is the sad point about it.
Wow.
But
So hang
here's
on.
the
So
thing.
you're saying some YouTubers are going to make a version of Snow White that's more accurate than the Disney one?
Yeah, Disney themselves are not happy about it because they're so Bob Iger is.
I don't think it's a
basically
copyright thing, though, is it? It's not in
not.
copyright.
Because
Oh yeah, it's
Hunt
Brothers
thing,
Grimm.
the Disney version is the Disney version. but
Hang
the
on, that's
Brothers
the
Grimm is
point.
public domain.
Right, is Snow White and the Huntsman, were there any dwarves in that?
No,
Yeah, no,
Why
they
is
were,
it? Oh,
They
there were? Okay, I've never watched it.
Chris Hemsworth isn't a dwarf.
they were dwarfs.
No, he's the Huntsman.
It was played by actors who are not. I think Hornswoggle is probably in that as well. So I'm not really sure.
Hornswoggler's in Snow White and the Huntsman.
I think so, but you know the guy who played Tai Long, the guy who voiced Tai Long, he's a good actor. Probably seen him in other stuff.
Right, I need to look this up.
I
So
think.
you're saying that Hornswoggle already played one of Snow White's Seven Dwarfs?
I think he's probably one of the real dwarves in that movie, but there are dwarves who are not technically dwarves.
But those dwarves that you showed us, they are
I'm calling
terrifying.
I'm
Yeah,
calling
let's
out
bring this
Cap.
up.
Cap is an AI, and he's making shit up right now.
Check this out. Like, let's bring the mouse over here.
They look terrifying.
It's awful. Like these faces, they look like. Honestly, they look like when you'd get a cutscene in a PS2 game.
Seriously,
Yeah,
don't be in the background. Looks like the BFG had a love child.
Oh my god, you're right.
But you know what? It's like taking video game graphics and then just putting it in the real world without like matching it to the background. So
here we have Purple Hat, Fatty, Drunky. Dopey is still the same because he's on several bags of weed a day.
Like legitimately, like this one and this one have the exact same face.
Sorry, I've broken my wife over in the corner.
It's really bad. Like it's such a shame when they first started doing these live action Disney movies. Like what was the first one they did? Was it Maleficent?
Cinderella.
Was it?
Cinderella there was Jungle Book and the Dalmatians before that.
Not counting Dalmatians. Not because over the years, there's been a few Jungle Books. Like in the 90s, they did 101 Dalmatians. But like this new era, which is like Beauty and the Beast, Jungle Book, Lion King, Aladdin.
Jungle Book started that. I think Jungle Book and Cinderella.
I think Cinderella came before Jungle Book.
Cinderella became out before Jungle
Which
Book.
was good, by the way. Which was good. The Cinderella movie was good.
It feels like it all started to go wrong with Aladdin and the Lion King, which is crazy because they had like the two best animated.
I am the genie of the lamp. I'm here to grant your wishes.
I liked Beauty and the Beast. I didn't know
Have
that.
you seen the castle, Dave? Like, have you seen them?
Here we go.
They're the most out of cartoony things you can think of. Like, they ruined Chip, Mrs. Potts, Lumiere. They all look like so weird and stiff, and the castle is so ugly. The best thing I liked about Beauty and the Beast was the castle.
You glitched out on my thing for a minute there, Cap, because it stopped for me when it sounded like you said they ruined Mr. Spock.
Mrs. Spock when Mrs. Spock.
What?
Like Mr. Spock just in the background of Beauty and the Beast.
But
He
like,
was the enchantress. He's just there, live long and prosper, Beast. Now suck it.
and here's the thing. The auto-tune in that film, that is an insult to the voice actress who voiced Beauty and Belle. That was a great insult. Again, and also the character. You have Gaston. You know you hate like toxic masculinity and all that. So why not have fun with it? Like that's the most cake-ridden character for you to do. But instead,
Weren't they making a Gaston spin-off?
Yeah, they
What
had the
happened to
idea of it. It fell.
Oh, I was going to say, that was so
The movie
long ago
didn't-
since
the movie
Beauty and the
didn't
Beast
make
came
money,
out.
so of course they can't make spin-offs for it.
Beauty and the Beast didn't make money.
No, it made
It
billions.
It made money, it's not enough.
Hang on, I think Beauty and the Beast was a hit. Beauty and the Beast. Let's look this up. I think
it
that
did
one
okay,
was a
but
hit.
it was nowhere as successful as. I mean, even though Lion King was not that
No,
great,
it
it still
wasn't
made over $1
successful
billion.
as the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
It wasn't successful as the Jungle Book. The Jungle
Hang on
Book
a
was-
second. Okay, look. Beauty and the Beast. Budget 160 to 255 million. Well, that's a discrepancy, so fairness there. But it says box office 1.266 billion.
Wow.
Like, that was before it all
And
went.
yet they still gave bad CGI to She-Hulk. If they have
Yeah.
that kind of money.
I know, right? Yeah. No, I liked Beauty and the Beast, but then after that, like, and I liked when they did the Lady and the Tramp one with real dogs. And
No,
Yeah, that
Tramp
was
is a
cool.
big dog. No, Tramp is a big dog, David. He's not a small schnauzer, okay? He was tall enough to big with a Doberman. They made him small.
Well, they had to get a dog. No, they didn't CGI him. Like I said this
Yeah,
recently.
an
I
Irish
saw
wolfhound or a
I saw
giant
him-
schnauzer.
He's
I
not
saw-
that big.
I saw a stage musical.
He stood up tall with a Doberman, Gerald. Look it up.
Yeah,
Okay,
but a
look,
wolfhound is a massive.
I saw a stage musical of Lord of the Rings a couple of months ago, and
Woo!
Aragorn was shorter than Frodo. Sometimes this happens, you know.
He's just riding like a little Shetland pony. He's just there like, a day will come when the courage of men fail. Ooh!
The Frodo.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, nice. Okay, so look, yeah, so Disney.
I will say this, David. The guy who played Aladdin kind of came out and said with this. I think the reason why those old remakes even though they were not very good movies, did okay because it was the time. They were testing the waters, and the audience weren't, by it as it went down. And again, with the Jungle Book came out, everyone liked the Jungle Book. I even liked the Jungle Book, except in the end they fucked it up. So the next one, the remake, they're like, they'll fix the ending like that. So they'll know their mistakes, they'll correct it. But they didn't, and the audience kind of took a step back. The other one took a step back. The Aladdin one, Will Smith was going to be in it. So that was, again, a big thing. Everyone's like, hey, Robin Williams, Will Smith, it can work. But then the movie was like disappointing, but people were cared enough to go see it. And then afterwards, The Lion King came, everyone was traumatized. They didn't want to see anything anymore. Then it all fell apart.
I think the biggest thing is they basically Disney's going after and trying to remake and make them into the CGI and the real life acting stuff. Is that, and this probably will be controversial a little bit, but I think like the 90s, like maybe mid 80s into the late 90s was like sort of like Disney's golden age for their cartoon movies. Not taking away from the older ones because they built that thing, but I mean, Beauty and the Beast, incredible animated one. The Lion King,
Tarzan,
Pocahontas, Tarzan, Hercules, Little Mermaid. I mean, you go through those, and that was like, the big time. So I think like they're definitely keen in on this nostalgic factor. But like again, Lion King is one of my favorite movies. But the animated one, the CGI one, I did not like because it did not convey the emotion and stuff that they were able to do in animation, and they try to make it too lifelike.
Yeah.
So it's that fine line on it.
I made that
I would
point
say
before,
real
Gerald.
lives have more emotion. I would say real lions have more emotions than those lions in that movie.
Yep.
Go Dave.
No, it's okay. I'll get rid of that point.
But like, okay, so I just looked up the Disney films of 2023, and like almost all of them are like ones that are complete flops or duds and stuff like that. Like Ant-Man was a flop. Then there was Peter Pan and Wendy. I even forgot that existed.
Yeah.
That didn't do well, I don't think.
Less said about that, the better.
Right,
Almost like
Guardians
direct-to-video.
3 was something of a hit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They did a remake of White Men Can't Jump. I didn't even know that had happened. Then Little Mermaid, I don't think was a hit.
You know why? You know why, David? Because they had Aquafina voicing Scuttle, and they thought it'd be a great idea to make her sing. If I was Aquafina, I would sue Disney for putting me through that.
Well, no, the movie was faithful to Disney until she started rapping.
Yeah. But then there was like Elemental. Did anyone see Elemental?
No,
It was decent.
See,
It was
like, here's
decent.
the thing. Like, I would think that every Pixar film was a must see in the past.
Yeah.
But I think a few years ago, Pixar got too far their heads up their own butts,
Yep.
and everything
Yeah.
has to be some incredible concept now. So I think they've just like pushed it too far, and it because like when there was like the short films, and it's like you can imagine them sat around. They're like, "Damn it, we're Pixar. What happens if we make a love story about two umbrellas?" And that's an actual film, and it's really
Oh yeah,
good.
it's a good one. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
really good one. And then they were like, "Well, what happens if each of your emotions was its own personality?" And they're like,
That
"Yeah,
was good. That
no,
was
but
good.
hang on. So it started off, hey, what happens if toys could really talk? What if ants could talk? What if cars could talk? What if umbrellas could talk? What if your emotions were sentient beings? What if each of the elements, and one like the freaky one was like soul. It's like one of them is if there are unborn babies who are like ghosts, but they're non-ghosts because they haven't lived yet at all, and everything's just
So-
like so far gone. It's like just make something simple about like a talking cat.
I
Just
would
like
say
not
I
one
would
that's
agree.
possessed by a ghost, just a regular talking cat.
I agree with you, but there's also the other thing I would say is that again the personality thing that was the last straw because like they looked interesting enough. In Soul, I was interested about the grand concept, but again the movie kind of was boring for me. And also, I would say if someone sees a trailer for Toy Story, every kid wants to go see that.
Yeah.
They would be like, "Oh my god, I want these toys. I want to be in this world." Like toys, like being in your own living room with toys. But when you look at Soul, the kid's not gonna go like, "I want to be in that world." No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it.
I think that's sort of the different audience that they're looking for. Because to your point, Soul definitely was not. If their target was children, they flopped on that one. Because
Yeah.
the target for me was middle-aged and slightly older people. I thought it was really good. I liked the music element and stuff in it. But again, it sort of had
It
a
was
little bit of that
brilliant,
borrowing
Gerald. I would
from
give it.
Inside
It's a
Out.
brilliant film.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not. It definitely was not a kids movie by any
But like
stretch.
And
it
it was
is a
kind of
film
boring,
which
even
you
for an
can't
adult like me.
you can't really explain many Pixar films as an elevator pitch anymore.
Yeah.
They're all like, okay, imagine a universe where something different is the reality, and then here's 10 other things. Like Monsters Inc. Well, imagine if like monsters were real, that come from in your cupboard or under your bed were real. And that pretty much is, and then we're going to show the secret world of the monsters. Fine, we've explained it. But it's like some of them are so complicated. They're not kids'
Also-
films. I think that's hit the nail on the head.
Also, I think again the visual complexity kind of is not working for them as well. Think about characters like Woody. Cool things. You look at that, you like that. It's a cool thing. Cars, when they introduced Lightning McQueen, that was cool. When they overdid it with every vehicle, that kind of went boring. But when cars came,
Planes.
Shut
But
shut
the
up, shut
but
up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
I
But
can't
when
wait for
cars came out-
submarines.
They just showed the D-Day landings, and it's all just cars and boats and.
But first cars came out, it was interesting. Everyone wanted those cars. Lightning McQueen was cool.
Well, and I think the other thing is that the first Cars story was it was a very heartfelt, touching story. I mean,
it was
it's
a
talking
good
about
sports drama movie. They
Yeah.
used to do it. Cars did it, and also Surf's Up, which is a movie that went under by the bus. No one noticed it. Which was also a sports-written movie,
Mhm.
like boys in a sense. Like as a kid, I was obsessed with those two films about sports.
Yeah, but I think the thing is to me, again, different age looking at it, and the things that spoke to me is the nostalgic thing. It was talking about Route 66, which was this basically a very important highway that was built in the United States, and it's basically dissolved away. There's parts of it that still exist, but there's also small towns that used to be. It was vital because of that highway and interstate.
Wow.
Well, when they built the bigger interstates, those places faded away, which is exactly like the little town. I can't remember the town, but the town in cars.
Radiator Springs.
Oh,
Radiator
Radiator
Springs.
Springs. Yeah. So I mean, it had multiple levels because it definitely appeals to kids. Visually, it's appealing. It's got a pretty decent story. It's not super scary or anything like that, but it also has multiple levels. And I think that's probably where Pixar has really taken a turn. They haven't really gotten those multiple levels. And then to David's point too, is their shorts still to this day are absolutely stinking incredible. And they have a lot of the heart and stuff that you don't see in their main big movies. Elemental, I did like it. Do I think it's one of the greatest ever? No, but I think it's right. It's probably solid in the middle of Pixar's.
What's the
reason
worst
why,
Pixar film? What's the one about the dinosaur?
Good
that
times.
Good Dinosaur. That one's
I don't
bad.
think I like that one. Like,
No,
I think I found
it's
it.
bad.
I kind of cried,
I
David.
can't weigh in on that one because I've never seen it.
I
kinda
couldn't get
cried.
into it.
When the dog boy kind of went to his fair with human people, it kind of cheered me up. I don't know.
I mean, look, even when you think of Up, right? And Up, I'm sure was like a big hit and everything. It's like it's not. It's like, okay, so there's an old man. His wife dies at the beginning, and then he's lonely forever. And then there's a kid, and he invents something, and his dog can talk, and it's complicated to explain. None of these Pixar films, like the first, like toys can talk. The second one, ants versus cockroaches, and it's like that's the film. An ant joins the flea circus. It's like cool, that's the film. But all of them, like Up, is really complicated. Soul is really complicated.
It just hit me, the flea circus thing. It's only now just hit me. after 30 years on this bloody planet, it's only now just hit me.
I had the same sort of thing a couple of days ago when, like, I'd see on the internet someone say, "Oh, you're such a stan for this," and I was like, "I don't know what this term means." And then I sat on a train, and I suddenly like Dear Stan. I was like, "Oh, it's the Eminem song." But it stands for like stalker fan, and that's why he called it Stan. I never knew this. I didn't know what a stan was. I knew it was an insult, but I didn't know.
I don't know if it's an insult. I guess it depends. If you're truly a stan about stuff, it almost seems like a badge of honor.
You want to be known as a stalker fan?
No, not me. There are people though that is like a badge of honor, and that's what.
What is a simp? Is that to do with The Simpsons?
No.
Simpleton.
Simpleton.
Moron. Yeah.
Oh.
Moron.
Oh, me!
It evolved into the boys who,
I think simple is what it is short for. But
like, isn't it like you simp for someone?
Yeah, for girls. That's the term now went to.
You simple for girls?
Yeah, like.
Is it like you act dumb around them?
The queen, you can step on me, that kind of way. Yeah.
Step on me? What?
Step on me, step on me, step on me, step on me. Never a reason, never a wrong. Step on me and step on me.
So, would it be fair to say, Cap, that you simp for Henry Cavill?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You did the thing. You did the thing.
No.
Yay!
No.
In fact, actually, look, when I put that up, Cap and Dave, your face is just replaced by Henry Cavill. Oh, to be fair, so is yours, Dave. But
If I go over here.
So Dave, help me understand what you just caught with the flea circus thing. I missed. I missed it.
Because the whole thing was like showmans before. They would have like a very very tiny circus and would work with like the whole showman thing is like all the fleas are there. You could see them on the swing, and it was all just done with electronics. It now just sort of hit me like a ton of bricks on a cartoon rabbit.
And it was run by a flea in the movie.
That's
PP
why
Flea.
it's funny. That's why it's funny to me.
But also the rule of cool is also losing with Pixar. That's my main thing. If I was a kid, if I looked at the elementals, I wouldn't be interested. I wouldn't want those toys. Again, cool idea, but like if they made them actually cooler, that would have been much more of a good selling point for kids. And like what you said, Gerald, like I didn't know about like they were actually speaking about the Forgotten Towns or anything like that. As a kid, that just flew by
Oh
me.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you mentioned it right now, that's what I noticed.
But that's the
also,
thing. It's like with movies that like that. It's like it's colorful enough for kids so they don't think about it too much. But it's got messages in there for like not like in your face messages for adults, but messages enough to say, you know, this is what you value more. You know, why do you do what you do? You know, in Lightning McQueen's case, why does he race? He's just trying to get. He just wants the cup. And at the end of it, what will he have? He'll just have a cup. He's not racing for anyone but himself. So by being in Radiator Springs, you know, he's learning more. Oh, this is what he's learning a bit more about. Oh, this is what racing actually is about. I'm doing it for people as opposed to anything else. And the kids just like the bright colors and loud noises.
I think someone's in the waiting room.
Yeah, David.
Oh shit, it's Nick. Oh shit,
Nick.
it's Nick.
Nick,
Right.
Nick.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit!
Shit!
How long have you been there?
Couple minutes.
Oh,
Oh.
okay, shit. Like that is
He's
scary.
been there for about an hour and 11 minutes.
How we
How you
doing,
doing,
guys?
Good.
Work sucked, but whatever. Are we live?
Yeah,
Yes.
we are live.
Yeah.
We were just saying about how we all can't stand Loki season 2 at all.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, so what were we talking about?
About
no
Disney.
bloody idea.
But I'll end with this though. Again, Disney at the 2000s when they were failing to Pixar, when Pixar movies were getting hit and they were not, mainly their marketing's fault. But the movies that they put out, Treasure Planet, Atlantis, they were all brilliant as hell. But again, they bought Bristol.
Look, I love Treasure Planet and Atlantis.
See, both of them are good. But you know why they screwed up, Nick? Because they released Treasure Planet on the week of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. Mind
That's
you,
true.
The
I would-
marketing was like, you
the
know,
worst is-
we are failing. Let's get this new sci-fi idea that Disney we don't do before, but let's release it. We didn't release it. How about Harry Potter? Sure, we're Disney. We're already
my
failing. But
favorite
we'll try
thing
it
about
anyway.
Harry Potter is before Universal got the rights to Harry Potter, you know who J.K. Rowling approached to open Harry Potter World?
Warner Brothers.
Well, yeah, but also Disney. And Disney was like, wow, we're good. We got our mouse. We all worship at the altar of the mouse, not the altar of the boy who lived.
So
Also, they were probably.
I am not allowed to comment on that, Nick. My contract forbids me for talking about that.
So the Altar of the Mouse will be very interesting because is it next year that Mickey is coming up, at least on the Steamboat Willie, is coming up again?
Yes.
And this
I
year?
have
Yeah.
huge plans for this character.
They actually released a short where the 100th anniversary with all the Disney characters in the picture.
Look, I don't
You
want to
ready?
give any.
Are you ready,
Yeah,
Cap?
I don't
You ready
want
for
to
that?
give any spoilers, right, from what my plans are. But like Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Mouse, porn parody is all I'm saying. That's the clue.
Oh, just a smackerel of honey.
Oh.
I will ruin Disney for everyone. I do not care.
Many winters ago, when I worked at Disney World, I had a coworker who was unceremoniously fired for reasons that I don't
It wasn't
remember
me.
what they were.
What did you do?
He got fired.
Co-worker.
Fine. She got fired and then proceeded to get a tattoo of two mice having sex in a very unconventional way.
I don't think that's a victory on her part, to be honest. I think
Oh,
that's
no.
like a double loss.
She was really, really pissed when Disney fired her. So she got a tattoo of Minnie pegging Mickey.
Wow. Okay, just put it all out there. Why don't you? Don't leave any details.
So
There's
I
nothing
also have a
left to
story,
the
but it's not a
imagination
story
there.
that I can share while we're live.
Wow.
Look, Dave, we all know you were the coworker.
Well, now that you mention it.
Exactly. Oh my god, I'm gonna get AI. Nah, AI won't draw that for me.
Yeah, right now we can't draw copyright images. Or ChatGPT, here's the thing.
They're blocking it out.
List you
They're
the
blocking
resources
what?
like
They're blocking the ability to have, and I don't know which ones, but some of them are preventing it. So like, if you wanted to say, okay, I want to have Mickey Mouse dressed up as Luke Skywalker in Star Trek, some
Oh,
goofy
really?
thing, it will not do it.
I have that pin.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that-
don't do that. They're not. That's another thing is that Mickey. They used to have Star Wars characters mixed with Disney, but now they don't do it anymore, as per George Lucas's ruling.
wow. What? But didn't he sell it? How can he stop them?
He,
Contract.
I think it's a contract thing. So that the main Disney characters.
Dave,
So like,
Dave, you're killing us with audio.
That's my headphones probably.
Okay.
I think that's my headphones doing that. So what it is that that they did exist, the outfits, and there are some statues in Disney Village near me with Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Donald in Star Wars costumes, but they cannot do it anymore.
Oh, interesting.
Dave,
Wow.
what are you by?
So you're saying that literally at Disneyland they can have Minnie pegging Mickey, but they can't have it dressed as Luke Skywalker anymore?
I plead the fifth.
In fact, actually, isn't there a story that like when Disney was alive, someone like some of the animators made like an obscene Mickey Mouse
Yep.
cartoon, and he was
Yep.
like, who made this? And they were like, that was us. And he was like, you're fired. Right.
Yep, he did do that.
Good for him. Good for him. You know, if anyone made an obscene extreme improv Geek Battle show, like, you know, why wasn't I invited?
Extreme Geek Battle talks porn. So
Welcome to XXX streamed improv.
You know what? I used to do Triple X streamed. Like, no one wanted to get on board with the late night one. It's just terrible. Right. Anyway, is there anything else anyone wants to react to? Because, like, technically, there's meant to be. I'm going to check before I like wrap the show up that anyone is actually doing.
I know you talked about it a bit yesterday, but I'll talk about it with Doctor Who returning for its 60th anniversary at the end of the month.
Yes,
I'm still
talk all about it.
I'm still hesitant about David Tennant coming back, as we were saying earlier, with the whole star quality thing and having him come back after the disappointment of Jodie Whittaker and Chibnall's, Chinball's era of Doctor Who. Having him come back is probably, I think, a desperate move on their part to say, oh, we'll bring back David. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be like how it used to be. But
like how they were saying about bringing back Robert Downey Jr. earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And
so you're telling me
I was listening to some audio stories, some recent ones of they're doing Big Finish is doing a whole thing. Yeah, I know. Big Finish is doing a whole thing with the classic Doctors, with relating into the Time War, where the War Doctor is degenerating into past incarnations, all played by various actors and some returning actors. And I think, okay, that's a really good. I haven't finished it properly, but it's really good thus far. So we've had, but I wish they would have gone into that a bit more, having Time War Doctor's mentality, but in previous incarnations of the body. So the Doctor with no limits, in like Sylvester McCoy's incarnation, who also had no limits as to how far he would go. So I think bringing back David Tennant would be a good idea if they explain it as a degeneration as opposed to a regeneration.
Oh no, I love the idea. No, because you think the 50th about revisiting some old faces. So that element they're sticking true to. Tom Baker, when he was the curator, did say to Matt Smith about, he's like, oh, are you a future me? Maybe I am you, or whatever he said. Whatever Tom Baker said, they filmed it and it didn't quite make sense. Right. I've watched that episode over and over again.
On that, David.
Yeah.
Colin Baker is the curator now.
What in Big Finish?
Big Finish. Colin Baker
Like
Baker's the
Tom
curator.
Baker.
It's canon, David. Go with it.
So
I will never accept Big Finish as canon.
I
Okay,
know,
but
I know
what
it's in Time War, but I just watched Rocky Horror Picture Show again, and I just I heard Time Warp, and I'm like, now I want to hear, and I just picture David Tennant dressed as Frankenfurter.
that would be amazing casting. I'm not going to
That would be
lie,
pretty
he would
cool.
be amazingly cast as that.
He would.
But Dave, have you seen Whoniverse?
Is that the ones with like Tales of the TARDIS? With
Yes.
so I haven't been able to watch full episodes of it.
Yeah.
I'm only able to watch little clips of it, and I watched the one with Stephen and Vicky from
Sure.
the first Doctor era. So the actors' names elude me completely.
Yeah.
But having them talk, like reminisce about the first Doctor, is brilliant. And you know, because it all started with William Hartnell. It all started with William Hartnell. Screw you, Chibnall, and your timeless children bullshit.
Yeah. Worst thing ever in like the history of that show.
The Doctor's the secret of regeneration. That's what makes a Time Lord a Time Lord. No, Time Lords are Time Lords, Chris, because they know time travel. Regeneration is just a little extra that they added onto it, you fat fuck.
Right, like the idea, but there was hang on, guys, bear with me a second, right, the very idea that when they did the 50th, they were like, well, what if there was a secret Doctor, because we never saw that regeneration? People could be like, wow, that's really exciting, and wow, you got this really famous and talented actor from back in the day kind of thing, John Hurt, to play the Doctor.
Yeah.
And then they were like, what if we do that again 5 years later? But instead of making one secret Doctor, there's thousands of them.
No!
And what was if the first Doctor wasn't the first Doctor?
Fuck you!
Yeah. You know, like, I'll tell you my theory now, because it will never happen, because it's all been ruined. My theory, because they teased back then the name of the Doctor and stuff like this. What I would have loved to have happened is that if they showed the Doctor at the Academy with the Master, my vision of what the Doctor's origin could have been somewhat was that they could have both gone down the same path and both been like the Master, right? And they kill, like, you know, whatever, like, the Doctor's name is or whatever, someone gets killed. And in this moment, the Master is like, we've got to run, and he doesn't care, and the Doctor does care. And who's the person that's been killed? What's your name? John Smith, right? And then that explains why he always uses that name and stuff like this. And it was like, that's why he then became the Doctor, because he's going to help people.
So
That's my origin for the Doctor.
So is Doctor Who sort of like the Sith, where there's always two or something?
No, there's loads. There's loads of Time
Master.
Lords, but they say that they choose their own name.
So I have one question. So you're talking about characters returning Doctors and all that. When is Rowan Atkinson's going to return with his Doctor? That's
that I'm not against. You know,
I will watch Doctor Who if that happens. Okay.
If you base your entire argument on Rowan Atkinson's Doctor Who, Capelthev, there is hope for you yet. But I would say that this is another rewrite or reworking I'm working on, is David Tennant's sort of episode in which I think you remember, David, when David Tennant rescued, he changed a fixed point in history in that he said
one of my favorite episodes ever.
The Waters of Mars. David, the 10th Doctor changes a fixed point in history, and they set up something so perfect that it was, he's on his own now. He's got no limit. He's going to break rules of time. He's going to do things like that. And then afterwards they completely ignore it. It's like it never happened to begin. It never happened. So what I would do is have this Doctor, or the 10th Doctor, go through the whole Time Lord victorious. He's gone off the deep end, and it takes the Master to bring him back.
That's cool. Let me add something to that, David. We're workshopping it here. We're fixing Doctor Who.
Let's do this.
I had the thought about that same story that, like, it was literally, I'm like in charge of time now, and then she shoots herself, and he's like, I've gone too far. Now, they may have gone further with that, but obviously when they wrote Series 5, it was going to be David Tennant, but then he decided to leave, and then they obviously wrote this story where he regenerates. But imagine if there had been a storyline with the Doctor where he does go to that dark place, and the whole series he's going further and further into becoming like the villain. And as you're watching it, you're like, someone like either the companion or imagine if like the companion has to turn to the Master to help me. You need to rein in the Doctor, because like the 6th Doctor was a bit more aggressive, you know, and like you said, the 7th Doctor has got like this edge to him as well as being the clown, and that is on top of it. But then, like, if the War Doctor, or before they came up with it, the 9th Doctor was meant to be the ruthless one that took out everyone to save the universe. It's like, let's have a whole season, a whole series where we see the Doctor become the person that, you know, he's doing everything perhaps for a good reason, but he's gone that step too far where he's lost that element of humanity.
But if I can throw this in, this is another big finish. It's another big finish thing.
Oh no!
Ready? So they're doing so. They did some stories with John Hurt and his War Doctor, and now they're doing stuff at the moment with John Coleshaw, who does a very accurate impression of John Hurt's Doctor. And they actually are showing a Doctor who, he doesn't use guns, he doesn't use weapons. They stick true to that, but they show that when it comes to Daleks, he is merciless. There is no mercy for them. Even, like any Daleks, any sort of species in this way, even the Sontarans feel this Doctor's wrath is like, show a darker edge to it. Like,
who plays this version of the War Doctor? John Coleshaw.
I think it says John Coleshaw. Let me check
It makes sense because he's an impressionist.
Yeah, he was on.
I would love to hear what his impression sounds like.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber, and he worked with Louise Jameson, who played Leela for Tom Baker.
Wait, you're saying John Coleshaw is a YouTuber?
He is, I believe so.
He was on Dead Ringers. Like, if it's the same John Coleshaw, there's like a guy who had like a BBC TV show. He'd do impressions of Tony Blair and George Bush and stuff.
Davros. There he is. Oh, Jonathan Carley. It's Jonathan Carley. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no bad.
Jonathan Carley plays the War Doctor in this, and he does a really good job in that.
Okay, now guys, like, I hate to like begin to cut things off here. We'll just do Geek Battle every day. It's fine. Now, we do need to establish who is the Geek of the Week, and like we're a few minutes. Like Extremes was meant to start a few minutes ago. I have asked ChatGPT to prepare a quiz for us.
Oh no!
We will establish.
I like to make it better than the last time.
Look, guys.
Who is David? Me.
I am literally never coming up with a quiz question myself again.
You lazy English fuck.
Yeah, exactly right.
Hey,
now.
Nick. Hey. He is short.
Hey. What I lack in height, I make up for in, I don't know. Right, anyway. Right, now,
shoe size, probably.
Here are some challenging questions and answers about time travel movies. Okay? So get ready to buzz in. And remember, guys, if time delays happen, I don't give a shit. So, okay.
Can you transfer to the future where I win?
Okay, we'll find out. In 12 Monkeys, what virus decimated the world's population? What's the name of the virus?
COVID?
Okay, Cat.
Monkeypox.
No. Anyone else?
Go on, again.
Buzz.
Nick.
Your mom.
Buzz.
Ouch! Oh, -1 point there, Nick. -1 point. It's going to be a hard recovery from this. Right. Anyway, Ebola. No, it was called It's Cavalfave. I can't read it. Carla-virus. So we didn't get that one. I asked these to be challenging. Maybe it's actually too difficult. Oh no, they're not going to be too difficult. Which actor played the character Marty McFly in Nick in Back to the Future the musical? I'm afraid that's the wrong answer.
There's a
Any
19th
guesses?
to the musical?
The guy
You've
that
not
did
seen
Ferris
Back to the
Bueller.
Future? Yeah, it's amazing. Did you just say Ben Stiller?
No, I said the guy who did.
I'll be honest. I added the word musical. So Nick, you do get the point. Right. Okay.
Boo.
But there is a musical and it's amazing. Right. Anyway, what is the predestination paradox and how does it relate to time travel in movies?
Buzz,
Cap.
when you go and go to stop one event, you actually are responsible for creating that event.
That is a perfect answer. I can't put it better myself just because I can't bother to read it. Right. Okay. So, which famous physicist's theories inspired the time travel concept in the movie
Buzz,
Cap?
wait, finish the question. Finish the
No,
question.
you can't. You've done it.
I was gonna say Einstein.
Is the correct answer, and the
I
movie
figured,
was
yeah.
Interstellar. Okay. In the movie, the Muppets Go Manhattan. No, okay. Right. Okay.
Oh.
In Primer, how many versions of the time machine do the protagonists build, and what are their respective purposes? Oh my god. Nick. Nick. 7?
Yes.
No. Cat.
10.
No. Look, I give up. It's 2. The answer is 2. 2 versions: a box for time travel and a suit for personal time travel. Ooh, in case you needed that personal day. Right. Okay. What is the central theme of the movie Donnie Darko, and how is it related to time travel?
Buzz?
Cap.
He sees a bunny.
Any better bids than that? Otherwise, I'm going to give him the point. Okay, Dave.
Say it again.
He sees a bunny in his mind, and it's all about how lonely he is because all around him are
I'm not
familiar
gonna lie,
faces
I'm giving Cap
and
the
worn
point.
out spaces.
I don't really understand the question nor the answer.
Right.
It says the central theme is the idea and fate and predestination, which is intertwined with time travel elements. Question 7.
Takedown, but that's
In Looper, what happens to the older version of a person when the younger version is killed?
Buzz. They die.
Nick, can you be more specific than that?
Buzz.
They
Dave? Oh,
they
hang on.
die in the same way that their younger version killed themselves.
Yeah, that is actually the correct answer, Dave. I'll let you steal that one. Right. Okay. Which 2004 film involves a time traveler who accidentally meets his younger self and tries to avoid a time loop? I'm not even sure if this is the right answer.
A weekend at Dave MC's.
It's the butterfly effect, but I don't think he meets himself, does he? Doesn't he quantum leap, basically? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do the characters use to time travel in the movie Safety Not Guaranteed?
Buzz.
Oh, guys, it's such a bad film. Cap.
A time machine.
Yeah, but what?
A bathtub time machine.
It's go on, Nick. Did you have a guess?
Hot tub?
No, that's a different movie. Much worse. I can't stand that film. A classified ad seeking a time travel companion and a homemade time machine.
Marty, you got to put a advert in the yellow pages, Marty.
Oh my god! Right, I'm just going to skip some of these questions and then set up with them myself. Right, what is the name of the time traveling device in the movie The Time Machine? Ooh,
Buzz.
Okay, Dave.
The Time Machine.
No.
Buzz, the machine.
Buzz.
No, Cap.
Cronus.
Oh, you're so close. I'm almost willing to give it to you.
Buzz.
Nick.
Chrono.
That's more accurate, but it's still not complete.
Buzz.
Dave.
Tim.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give the point.
The Chronosphere.
It might be, but according to ChatGPT, it's the Chronosynclastic Infund Ib Blum Blum. I don't know.
That's what I said. I said that. I said Tim.
Bullshit. Right.
I can't remember a name like that, so you call it Tim.
Right. Okay. In Time Bandits, which object allows the characters to travel through time and space?
Buzz.
Nick.
What?
What?
Is it a wristwatch?
I don't think so. It might be. I saw that film like 30 years ago. Right. But it says here a time map. But it sounds like it should be a watch. I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
Ben 10 stole from that movie. Now I just realized.
Hang on, let me get the map out so we can travel in time. I just got to unfold it several times.
Although I will in Ben 10 though, they actually do rant on this idea. There's a professor who's a ripoff of Doctor Who, but instead of using a TARDIS, he actually has a map in his head, so he knows all the shortcuts of time. So he just basically gets around without a time machine.
yeah, great. Now in Deja Vu, in Deja Vu,
I'm Deja Vu now. Thanks a lot, dude.
what technology is used to view events from the past, and how does it play a role in preventing a disaster? Nick.
The television. Tune into CNN.
Oh, do you know what? You're not a million miles off because they kind of watch it like television. They call it the time window, but I can't quite give that to you. Right? Okay, hang on. Let's have a look here. Blah blah. I'm going to find one more question. These suck. There's like 7 questions about the movie Primer, and I've never seen it. Right.
All right. So
Okay. We're back on.
It just sounds like a paint job. Just watching paint dry. I'll put the primer on.
In Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, who gives Bill and Ted access to the time machine and why? Nick.
Buzz Rufus, played by the late great George Carlin.
Damn it!
Okay, but why and why?
Buzz.
No, Nick.
Why in Excellent Adventure? To play board games with the devil. Oh no, wait.
Buzz.
Cap.
So if they would go on to write the song that would unite the universe or the people of Earth all together.
Save the world, basically.
No, that's not. Again,
Buzz,
that's not the answer I'm looking for, Dave.
History Project.
Yes, there you go. That's the answer.
Damn it.
I'll give you a point, Nick, for getting Rufus, though. Okay, last question. What is the grandfather paradox, and how does it typically addressed in? Okay, Cap.
So if you go back in time and killed your grandfather, you won't be able to be alive to go in back and kill your grandfather.
Yeah, but essentially, can you put it more eloquently?
What?
Buzz.
Okay, let's just say I went back and killed my grandfather. I wouldn't exist in the first place.
There you go. So yeah, absolutely. It involves someone preventing their own existence. So I'll say you got that.
Can I elaborate more on that?
Yeah.
In Futurama, Fry is his own grandfather.
Yes. And they've renewed Futurama for 2 more seasons. So it's a good job. Okay. Listen, last one, because I saw this one about Doctor Who.
Go.
How does the concept of fixed points in time influence the time travel narrative of Doctor Who?
Buzz.
Yeah. Nick.
There are certain events that always must happen, and therefore, even if a time traveler goes to those events, they still cannot alter them.
Is the correct answer. -1 point, Dave. Right, okay. So I'm joking. Right, okay, good.
Okay,
So,
I'll throw in a point. There is a grandfather paradox in Doctor Who.
who?
Daleks.
Yes, I will.
They have a grandfather?
No, because so hear me out. The CIA, the Central Intervention Agency of Gallifrey, and yes, they are called the CIA. They sent the Doctor back to prevent the creation of the Daleks. Right? There's no denying that. But that then became a fixed point. Because if they got rid of the Daleks, they wouldn't have been able to send the Doctor back, even if they were time sensitive.
Well, yeah.
3 million points to Dave.
Unfortunately not. But I can say, Capelthave, you are this week's Geek of the Week.
I want to point out one thing. I came in an hour late.
I don't think that's an excuse, right?
Oh, it's a 100% excuse. I had to work.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Now, awesome. We're going to find out where we can find everyone on social media. Guys, I will say we're quite late starting Extreme Improv Extreme. I don't even know 100% that enough people can do it. We'll find out if any of you guys want to jump on. But I do need to get across to the other studio across town, as you can understand. Nick, where can the people find you?
On Twitter and stuff.
Excellent. Gerald.
Instagram at Gerald Geek.
Awesome. Dave.
You can check me out here on Geek Battle and on Extreme Improv, and check me out on my YouTube channel, written as Dave MC. I have a Halloween episode that went out on Halloween Day. Tiny Bunny, the episode went up. Capelthev was in the chat for about 2 minutes, and
I thought you were live.
I was live, you fool!
You fool!
Finished that you recorded, so I was like, so Dave's not going to answer my question. So I was like, okay.
I said I'd be in the live chat. You were not there.
Well, anyway, Capelthev, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Sword Teaser or Thing I Dance. Occasionally comment on Dave's live stream and then leave after 2 minutes.
Okay, and my name is David Psansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Psansky. Also, guys, check out, you can get Geek Battle merch. Look at that. Look at that. Shouldn't have used yellow because my green screen just doesn't show it off. But do check that out and everything else on extreme.tv. And so, with that, until next time, stay safe, always stay extreme, live long and prosper, and ciao for now.